Welcome back to the Wizard Weekly, where we talk about everything happening right now in gaming. So, now that the dust has settled and players have long since digested the free Pringles and sugary soda they were given alongside the console on launch day, I gotta ask, how has everyone Switch 2 launch? Me personally, I haven't gotten the system, nor have I even so much as seen it anywhere in person. What I have seen though is that all of my local stores like, Walmart and Target, they have just removed shit from the entire Nintendo sections faster than 3D All-Stars removed from the eShop when Nintendo wanted to speedrun big scarcity. And I can't lie to you guys, it has been pretty fun from an outside looking in standpoint of just seeing all these people enjoy the Nintendo Switch 2 system and this whole new era of Nintendo that we're entering, especially with this new title that I got on the screen right now that's now infamous, being Mario Kart World, which, just going off of what I've seen, because I haven't played this game like I told you guys, I just want to give you the full on we start up, put the strap on before you start playing disclaimer before I start talking. From what I've seen through player live streams and have heard through sentiments online from players that actually own this title, Mario Kart World's gameplay experience is just phenomenal. Like, the core 24 racer unpredictable ass experience is just one for the books, and definitely just a great evolution step for the whole Mario Kart franchise. However, the game itself is just missing really key elements that you would think would be in a Mario Kart racer, really just any party racing game in general. Like the fact that as of right now, you can't matchmake and just go online into a lobby while you're already in a lobby with your friends. So if you and a group of 2 other people wanted to play online with other people in the 24 racer experience, you can't do that. Or just having to jump down green pipes of sidetracking methods just to play split screen free roam local multiplayer modes, that's just why man, why $80? All things that unfortunately the early Nintendo adopters, which should be the fans Nintendo should care about the most right now, are being forced to endure until the eventual content patches and updates that will undoubtedly address some of these issues that people are having outcry over. Because even though the game and the console itself is selling really well here in the first quarter of the game, they're going to do what they can to keep the momentum up going into halftime, because they're going to have to show this off to their investors in their fiscal year earnings report, which we all know Nintendo has this dynamic with their investors as if they're a kid needing a signature on the report card from your parents when you were younger. But like said kid with all F's, Nintendo themselves, they have been on an early streak of just delivering very, very terrible and unfortunate news to some players in the form of semi-hardware bans on the Nintendo Switch 2 already, which is the big thing I want to talk about first in today's episode. Because some players have tried their hand in exploiting this console already, which, we've already talked about this before in the recent Mage Meetup video talking about Nintendo piracy. The day Nintendo announced $80 games, almost every Nintendo fan worldwide, at least somewhere within their spirit, they started picturing an eventual just Switch 2 piracy cornucopia. They just started picturing every single possibility, like it was Link seeing brief visions of Zelda during the whole Tears of the Kingdom storyline. And one alleged method of Switch hacking that players have been curious to know if it would work as good as it did on the original Switch console is in the form of these MIG cartridges, which are these flashcard, devices that allow you to copy one or more games illegally, or technically, also legally dumping your own games that you already own onto, the MIG cartridge, and then just diminish the whole need for a physical copy of that title and just play the games from this, large storage device. It does have its illegal usages for the people that want a simple gaming lifestyle and to not take up all this space with game CDs or, cartridges and whatnot, but come on. And apparently already, a few brave soldiers, which the modding community of Nintendo needs to be saluting right now for stepping on the landmines of enemy territory, for the rest of the platoon to just learn from and, evaluate the next move, because that is just amazing, bro. We see you guys. But apparently these brave soldiers, they tried to use a MIG cartridge on the Switch 2 while it was connected to Wi-Fi for some reason. Don't know why they did that, but it has resulted into these consoles being permanently banned from accessing any online services, which Upon trying to use any of the online services, they received the error code of 2134-4508, which is basically acting as their inmate number for their, Nintendo prison sentence. Now, fortunately, as of this semi-hardware banned nature, you can still access the console in its offline capacity, such as playing games just without internet, and you can even access like the games you might have bought and put them onto a different system. They don't like lock you out of your paid services, like of anything that you bought. Because as you can see here in this video of this guy who got banned, even though he deleted everything off the system and restored it to its factory settings, when he tries to sign into a Nintendo Switch online account, it still won't let him, effectively just breaking his access of any online services within this console. Which, I mean, the timing of all of this is definitely, like, without a doubt not a coincidence on Nintendo's side of things, because just last month in the last Wizard Weekly episode, we talked about how Nintendo updated their bona fide Declaration of Independence as terms of service to state that if they catch you using emulators or any nefarious application on their systems, last gen included, they effectively have the right to just brick your system. Now, at that time, we didn't know what they meant by that because they used vague statements, so we kind of thought that bricking meant no access to the console, like, at all. But apparently here they have more creative ways of just disabling your usage of that console, which, now that I think about it, I tried to make a joke earlier of saying that he can still use this console in hacking purposes with it being offline, but now that I think about it, there are some like hacking applications that require internet in order on the system to be used, so he's kind of fucked. But of course, hey man, leave it to Nintendo to do the most Nintendo thing possible and go after you for doing anything nefarious on their new consoles, especially this early in the generation. Again, shout out to those guys for being test dummies in this whole situation, because the future of eventual Nintendo like hacking will definitely benefit from this experience, but at the end of the day, at what cost? And then moving on, I'm so glad that I didn't record this video a day before like I initially planned to, because I had no freaking idea that we were getting a Donkey Kong Bananza direct showcase today. So being able to see this and talk about it is definitely, it works out in my favor a lot, and I love that. But today, Nintendo, they decided to premiere the showcase of Donkey Kong Bananza, which is the only game that I'm personally considering like the definitive launch title of the Nintendo Switch 2 system. I mean, Mario Kart World is cool and all, but it'll get its crown back in like 3 content updates down the line. But Nintendo gave us 17 minutes here of just going through the new features of Donkey Kong in this new rendition, featuring the little rock, as you can see here, that for some reason they delayed telling us that it was actually let me see if I can find it here. It's actually Pauline, which we already basically knew for the past couple of weeks, but and Nintendo wanted to do that for some reason. But man, to me, this game just feels like it is screaming it is a good time to be had whenever I look at the gameplay footage, because I just love its glorious open world nature that I'm seeing so far. Apparently you have to navigate these worlds that are supposed to be like levels of a tall ass planet, even though it doesn't look like it. It's some straight up Tower of God type shit. And as you can see here, I just love that the entire terrain for the most part is destructible and can be used as an asset for you at any time, because honestly speaking, like, of modern games, there aren't too many that does that type of thing well. Like, most games that try to attempt, at least at what I've played, that try to attempt like a terrain where you can actually like form it and shape it and like mess around with it in unique ways, they either are cool but not fun to use, or they just don't feel right. And this here, Donkey Kong, when he's smashing shit, it looks fun, and I know it'll feel fun just looking at it. You can just tell sometimes. And building off that, I think some of the abilities are going to be pretty cool, like being able to tear off any piece of the terrain and use it as a freaking bona fide frisbee at any point in time. Some of these characters and NPCs are some of the most Nintendo-ified things I've ever seen in my life. Like, how you can see here, this freaking crystal has eyeballs that it can transform. Like, this reminds me of just being able to talk to socket plugs and Mario and Luigi brother shit. And now these enemies, Poppy Kong here has the most aura, just gotta say that. But Void Kong, this dude here, that looks like something you need to spray with Ray. Look at his gold slugs. I've never seen a Nintendo character with gold teeth before. He is gonna be a menace. I can already tell he's gonna be annoying as hell, and whenever boss battle that's gonna be in that capacity. Like, he looks like Majora's Mask. There's also going to be challenge courses within the game to unlock special items, which I think is going to be pretty neat. I like how some of these, they transform back into the classic like 2D Donkey Kong side scroller type of game, like with Donkey Kong Returns and whatnot. I think that'll be pretty fun to go back to within this title. And the game, man, it just looks really freaking solid, like a really just fun, short, type of game to play and just enjoy and look back on with fondness years later, which there has been like some rumors and speculation that this is being developed by the same team that spearheaded like Mario Odyssey and a bunch of like big Nintendo games from Switch 1, which you could definitely get that same type of vibe here, like a Mario Odyssey level vibe, which I think that's Nintendo EPD or something like that, one of those divisions. I don't know the names by heart, but definitely people on that team had something to do with this game because this just looks really fun as hell. The game drops July 17th, 2025, which I think is about a month from today, or a little like a day less because today's the 18th, and it's going to be at that $70 price tag, which unfortunately it's sad to say that that's like a saving grace in this whole realm of $80 just lingering over our heads everywhere that we look. Like, that is just sad to say. 70 is like decent, semi-decent compared to like 60. But either way, I'm glad the wait isn't going to be that entirely long, because kind of one of the factors of why I didn't get a Switch 2 like around this time, or didn't even like seek it out anywhere, is because I was kind of waiting for this game to come out, because I knew this was the title that would have made me enjoy the Nintendo Switch 2 console. Because Mario Kart, like I said before like twice now, that's not my Mario game. I like 3D Marios and 2D and 2.5D Mario titles, and this just looks like just a fun ass 3D experience with a character that doesn't get that much love from Nintendo, especially in this form, like in this kind of light, outside of getting freaking a new return port every freaking generation now. But I'm excited for it regardless, and I can't wait to, you know, see how it actually plays. And I'll be honest guys, that's all I really wanted to talk about in today's video. Usually for a Wizard Weekly episode, I have 3 topics lined up that I want to talk about extensively, but it's been pretty dry, like Nintendo in 2016 type of dry, and I just don't want to talk about anything like for too long that I don't actually care about. And that's why I got this on the screen here, because I saw it in passing. We got Sarah Goldbond here, Xbox's president. Recently, Xbox semi-announced their next console in the form of a partnership deal with AMD for them to have a multi-year agreement of AMD producing chips for their next line of Xbox hardware in general, which they claim that all this next, you know, era is going to not be tied to a single store or device, which we already live in that era. I mean, basically you can play an Xbox on literally anything with an LCD screen. And they do try to blow a little smoke up the poop portal, claiming that there'll be a deeper level of visual quality and immersive gameplay and player experiences enhanced with the power of AI, which I do believe is going to happen at some capacity. Just at how much of it I give a shit about and if it's actually good is, you know, up in question. But I just found this interesting because we all have known for the longest time that Xbox has been moving towards more of a software-based business strategy, where they don't rely so much on the hardware as they do on having games where you can only play under the umbrella of having an Xbox logo on whatever device, wherever. But at the same time, Xbox fans have also always known that they have been just toying with having this device that is more of a functionality of a PC. I mean, they're backed by freaking Windows, for God's sakes. So I'm just curious to see if this next Microsoft console, which they're targeting a 2028 release window for, is going to follow the same tropes of what players have been speculating for years now, since the whole idea of like this like freedom based type of console for Xbox has been in speculation, is if they're going to have like different app stores like Epic Games, Steam, being able to play a whole bunch of games, not even just Xbox titles on that system. Because at that point, even though by definition it's still going to be a console, for most players it's going to be treated as this whole new gaming hub where you go to play your Xbox games, your possibly PlayStation games, since PlayStation and Xbox are kind of having these partnership shits going on right now, emulator titles. Like, it's just going to be a whole PC based experience without the hassle of building a PC, which I think a lot of Xbox players would enjoy. Just any general player, like, just wanted to play all the games without having to buy different consoles and systems, would enjoy having. Quite honestly, that's the future I see for both PlayStation and Xbox going forward as platforms, as the whole exclusive game becomes non-existent and they focus on trying to capitalize on getting as many players into the pool and just, you know, generating revenue off of that, you know. So just, I would love to see that out of Xbox. Whether it's going to be that, we'll see. Yeah, but that's all that I got for today, man. If you enjoyed, leave a like on the video, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.